So, a couple things to note. So again, I think I was happy overall. Some of you missed the fact that the angle of depression is always measured with respect to the horizontal, and then those get transferred, if you'd like, transferred in. And some of you went 90 minus this to get that, and then this minus, right? Like you subtracted these two from 180, you still got the 15.8, right? So regardless of how you go about it, it's all connected. So this is what was supposed to be the case. You had your sides there, and if you missed that, your answers were exactly opposite to mine. So if you didn't get the angle of depression right, you actually got, you know how I get 115 for x? You actually got 0.34. Like these answers are flipped in your case. I took away a full mark up here in your diagram, but if you were consistent with the work thereafter, you still scored a significant amount of work of marks. And that's how trig, especially trig, that's how it goes, right? I go by your diagram. How consistent are you from there? And notice that I answer in meters for m and n, like the heights. Some of you use Pythagorean theorem. Sure, just be careful, use as many decimals as possible. But as long as you answered in kilometers, I was fine with that. Okay, you didn't have to turn that into meters. I just thought there would be a nicer way to answer that. And then this is what a lot of you missed. When you're finding the height between the tops of the towers, the angle of depression no longer works, right? Because that's with respect to the horizontal. So notice that red line, right? That's the one that goes here. And these two side lengths come with you. But notice that if you have these two angles along the bottom, you can subtract those from 180 to give you the inside there, which is 147.7. So it's SAS, right? You have a side angle side here, and then you can find that side between the tops, which is 2.79 kilometers. Okay, so be careful. Take your time, read it carefully. Don't assume that there's an angle there if it's not, right? Use a ruler. Some of you, I think if you use a ruler to connect the points, you would actually be okay, right? Next, the pendulum. The pendulum swings at an angle of 12 degrees. So from end to end, that is your pendulum. And the pendulum is actually this, right? It swings to the left, swings to the right. So it actually does this, right? It swings like that. But you're given the horizontal distance, which is 14, angle of 12. You should see that this is an isosceles triangle because the pendulum on either side is the same length. So watch what I do to find that angle A. I just go 180 minus the 12 degrees divided by 2. So I get an 84-degree angle for actually both of these angles are 84. Okay. So I go sine of 12 over 14. 14 is the straight line. And then sine of 84 over x. Right. And so this is really what I was after. And some of you did get it, and I felt bad for you, right? I still took marks off, but if you keep going, even if it's correct, you need to tell me like this is the answer, right? So you need to tell me which one is the one that we're after. And it's actually 66.97, not the other one. Some of you found the height. Some of you found the height here. So it wasn't wrong, it's not telling me that you understand what you need to solve for. All right, so that's that. And then this one went some interesting directions you guys put in there. You know what the number one downfall was? Lining stuff up. So you're lining your end like straight up with this, and all of a sudden that 37 finds its way into your triangle, right? Not really, right? So you either shoot past or you're short, but don't assume that you're lining up perfectly. So this 37 is between this line, right? So the 37 actually transfers out to here, and at the stop here, you do a south 40, right? So you've got both outside angles. If you subtract the 37 and the 40 from 180, you got 103. And none of these other ones, right? Some of you put this 40 out here, and that's actually not true. That's only true if you were to have a horizontal, perfect horizontal line. Sure, you can bring the 40 in here, but it doesn't make the whole thing with the side here that you're trying to close, right? So be careful when you transfer stuff. It has to be done correctly. So you would lose a full mark for sure if you get one of these things wrong, and maybe more, depending on how many more mistakes. Like if you bring the 40 over here, then you lost even more because now there's two things that you're not understanding, right? So this is cosine law. A lot of you ended up using cosine law anyways, right? But the answer was different. So don't leave it blank. Absolutely don't. Don't feel like you need to leave stuff blank. And the last one, I will talk about that one real quick. I'll do from scratch, okay? I'll do it on loose leaf. But what really needed to happen there is I think a lot of you missed this, the due south. If you're going directly due east or directly due south or directly due west, you're actually, right, that's exactly where you're going, straight that point. So if you feel like you're going down the small river and right, and then you spot an island that's south 19 west, right? So this is your 19 here. And it says continues to paddle due south. That means that you're seeing this, the island, but you keep going straight down the south line, right? Actually, I went a little bit too far here. So I'm gonna have to adjust. And that's part of learning, right? For 1,500 feet, and then you spot the island that, is it 80, right? South 80 west. So at this point, it's south 80 west. So the 80 is right here. So let's see if I can close that. So that's sort of the scenario there, right? So you're spotting the island at the first here. You keep paddling south, and then you see that island. I'm going to call this I. You see that out there again. Okay. So this is my story, and then I make a clean version. Start, right? I don't know, B, an island, right? And so this is 1,500 here. This is 19. That's actually part of your triangle because you went straight south. And this is 80 over here. And right, you should see that there's a straight angle. So this is actually 100 there, which is also part of it. And then when you subtract these two from 180, you get the 61, at which point you have sine law that you can use. And you're asked to find like how far you are from the island and your second position, right? You're asked to find this. So you go pair and then sine of 19 over x here, which is what you're finding, right? And so your answer is 558.36. Okay. If you would like to have some more practice at these, okay, in the book, okay, I'll just tell you where you can find more. In the book, page 26, there's one right there. Okay, this is test prep. Test prep is right there. If you go to page 25, test prep. So what did I say? 26? Yeah. Page 25 and 26 basically. And wait, there's more. Sound like one of those commercials, right? If you go at the bottom of page 25, right, there's a whole bunch of questions that you can try. So this weekend, right, I would, if I were you, review some of that, right? If you haven't done some of these Trig Review B and C, try that. And make sure you try at least one of the ones we did today, okay? So you're not too overwhelmed. And then come back on Monday and we'll try to wrap it all up, okay?